Good day to everyone. Hope you're having an awesome day wherever you may be. Love this. And what an incredible week of golf. We got to see Tiger Woods at Riviera. Spectacular. I loved every minute of it. It's good to see him playing incredible, better than I thought. I thought he would totally just miss the cut. I thought it was just for show, to be honest with you. I was wrong. I was totally wrong. He was not there because he's the host. He's not there because he's just trying to compete against Liv. He's there to try to win the dang tournament. And he gave it everything he had. Never quit. Typical. That's kind of how Tiger rolls. I love it. Great to see. And, man, Jon Rahm, that guy's the number one player in the world right now. I don't know what the world ranking is officially, but he's crushing it, just dominating. And I love seeing Max Homa, hometown kid, just grinding. Oh, emotional. I guess, hey, make more birdies on the back nine, I guess. But that's some pressure. Good job. Great tournament. Riviera never disappoints. It's fun watch. Also, what's a fun watch is the Netflix documentary Full Swing. Loved it. All right. Now, this episode here is about 10 things I didn't like about it. But let me preface this by saying I loved it. I loved the documentary. I thought they did a fantastic job. I've been looking forward to this for a long time, and they did not disappoint either. Netflix came through like a champ, and the producers of this, the cinematographers, the direction, it was fantastic. I loved it. And hopefully I'm not giving any spoilers. I don't even think there are spoilers to give. Like, they followed the PGA Tour. You know what happened. You know who won. You know what went down. So there's really no spoilers to be had. Whatever I say here is not going to ruin it for you. So I don't think anybody could tell me anything that would ruin it. It's not like a movie where you're like, hey, he dies at the end. Like, there's none of that. There's no like, whoa, I didn't know this happened. You know everything that happened. So I'm just going to go over 10 things I didn't like. 10 things I wish that were there. Like, things I felt like they missed or that I wish were there. The things I didn't like about it. You get the idea. So we'll count it down from number 10 to number 1. And number 10 on my list is this. There was no Bryson DeChambeau. Like, he's not in the thing. And I wish there was an episode on Bryson. He's pretty exciting, polarizing. And, hey, I don't know if he was contacted or denied, that he denied it or what, but he wasn't there. So I wish there was. I felt like that was a miss. I would guess Netflix and the producers tried to get him in there, but he wasn't in there. So I was like, oh, that's kind of a bummer. You know, he would be one of the guys that I definitely would have wanted to see in an episode. Maybe it's coming in the future. I don't know. Maybe season 2. We'll see. Number 9 is this. Now, they went behind the scenes with a bunch of players, and that was great. I wish they had done the exact same thing with Jay Monahan, the commissioner of the PGA Tour. Because Netflix, this is all really about the PGA Tour. So I was thinking, once I saw, he's in it a little bit. He says some stuff regarding the Live Tour and the structure of the PGA Tour. So he's sort of in there, but there's no episode about him. We didn't get to go behind the scenes. Again, maybe they asked him and he didn't want to do it, but if I'm a producer of that and I say, hey, we're doing this, even mid-season or mid-filming, mid-production, I would say, dude, we got to get some time with you. We got to go with you where you go and get in your life to find out what you go through on a day-to-day basis. As a golf fan, I feel like that's a piece of it I would want to see. So I felt like they missed that. Number 8 on my list of things I didn't like is this. It kind of has Charles Dickens type of feel. Like, you know, the Ghost of Christmas Past, Present, Future. Like, that's kind of what it felt like. And in this way, for example, they did episodes on Justin Thomas, right, winning the PGA Championship. Well, they also did an episode of Mito Pereira looking at his go at the PGA Championship, and he kind of collapsed. And so we had an episode of JT, and then we had kind of the same episode or the same shots, but with a different camera angle. So it was kind of like you saw the same tournament from different perspectives. Now, some people like that. It's not my favorite type of thing. Like when I watch a movie like that, I just think, oh, here we go. Okay, we got to see the same thing 3 times. And so I find myself just counting how many times we're going to go through it. And I'm like, okay, we saw it at this angle, then we're going to see the same thing at this angle, and then we're going to see the same thing at that angle. For me, it's just not my style. So if it's your style, fantastic. You're going to love it. I loved some of it, but then I was like, are we going to get 8 episodes of the same thing from a different camera angle every time? That's kind of how I was feeling about it. It's not like that repetitious, but it just had that feel to me a little bit. And I'm not a fan of that style. So that's just personal preference. Number 7 on my list is, and I feel like they missed this, is I wish there was more on the Live Golf Tour. I wish they got more in depth with that. Now, my guess is that Netflix got permission from the PGA Tour to have access to the PGA Tour. So if I'm the PGA Tour and Live comes around and this whole whirlwind takes place, I basically say, dude, if you want access to the PGA Tour, great. But we're not going to allow our footage, we're not going to allow you access if you're going to have the Live angle as well. Like you either are with us in this venture, and then if you want to do something with them, they're on their own. They're part of their own, series that you could do it, but I don't want to be intertwined with them. They could have said that. I would guess they probably did, knowing the things I've heard about the PGA Tour and kind of the heavy-handedness of the control of what they have. Who knows? But I really would have liked to see more of it. I mean, they had Dustin Johnson, and they interviewed him. A lot of his interview is at a Live event location. So they were there. I was at a bunch of the Live tournaments, and so I saw the Netflix crew filming and doing their stuff. So they were there. But you just didn't necessarily see a ton of it. They talked about it, but I wish there was really a deep dive on what was going on in the Live Tour in the Netflix Full Swing. At least season 1, I wish it was in there. And it wasn't. So that was kind of disappointing for me. Number 6 was, I would have liked, okay, they did an episode of Mito Pereira and Joaquin and Saeed Thagala. I can't even pronounce his name. But so they did Mito and Saeed, and it was kind of like this rookie episode. And it was good, but like I only really saw Mito at the PGA Championship. And Saeed, we really only saw him at the Waste Management. Now, that episode, what they did with him was really powerful. I loved the angle they took with him. It was emotional because, he was really trying to win. He's just brand new on tour. And I liked what they did there. With the Mito side, I really didn't get a good connection. Like, I was like, and there might have been some language barrier because a lot of that was in Spanish and you're reading subtitles. So maybe I missed the connection there. And I didn't really get to know them at a deep level where I would have wanted, right? Like if you're going to introduce me to somebody new, you got to do a better job of pulling me in so that I get to know them better. And it was good. I felt like I just didn't know them that well. But I know you wouldn't know any rookies that well. So again, there was just a little bit of a disconnect for me in that particular episode. And I would have liked, like I said, to have known them better. And I think they could have done They could have worked on that. Maybe they tried. Maybe it just didn't cut together, but it was still a good episode. I'm just being nitpicky with that one in particular. I just felt like they were all great, and that one I was like, there's a little disconnect for me. So that's why I'm bringing that up. Number 5 is this. Speaking of the rookies and the new players on tour, I would have loved to have had an episode. If you're going to do what you did with Mito and Sahith and the rookies, I would have loved to have seen an episode with the college golfers getting onto the PGA Tour, because this year, the number 1 ranked college player at the end of the season gets a PGA Tour card. So if there's a big fight to be the number 1 ranked college player, meaning you got to grind, you got to win tournaments. So I would have loved to have seen an episode about that, how that's the new up-and-comers battling it out to be number 1 to get their tour card. They just walk right into the PGA Tour. How cool is that? That could have been an awesome episode. And the Genesis Invitational has what they call the College Golf Showcase. So it's awesome. I went to one. It happens like the Monday of the tournament, and they get in all these college players to play. They're playing a tournament. The pros are like playing a practice round, and the pros play with, for example, if you're Max Homa, right? You went to Berkeley. Like if one of the top college players is from Berkeley, let's say you get to play with Max Homa, and you're playing for real. He's playing a practice round. You're playing and you're competing against all these other college golfers, and the winner gets a spot in the Genesis Invitational. That's pretty awesome. So that's why I think they could have incorporated that into an episode. So I felt like that'd be cool to see, right? If you're gonna go that route, you could really kind of even go younger and show that emotional piece of these college golfers striving to get their tour card. Now, they did it last season, so that wasn't the case. It would be this season. If they do a season 2 of Full Swing, I would hope that they'd be out there. And you see them out there at the Genesis filming. They are filming, and they are easy to spot because they have a certain camera set up. They're running around. They are out. So I would hope that's coming in the future. Number 4 on my list, just piggybacking on that, is the same thing, but with the Korn Ferry Tour players. That I would want to see an episode of those guys, how they live, what their lifestyle is like. Take a couple of the top guys that are actually probably going to qualify that you could pick out, like, hey, this guy's probably going to be top 25. He's probably going to get his card. And so I would follow them and make an episode of that. So they didn't do that in season 1. I would love to see it in upcoming seasons. All right, number 3 is this. I feel like they missed this, and it could have been done in this season. We got to see and travel on private jets and be inside kind of the glitz and glamour of the lifestyle of the tour pros. But as a fan, as a golfer, somebody who practices and tries to get better at the game, which is pretty much all of us, I would have loved to have seen more or any of what they do to get better. They're working with their swing coach a little bit, but I want to see them practice. I want to see the grind. I want to see the frustration of them trying to get better, and they can't. And I think they could have done that, and that would have just been like, man, these guys work their tail off. They really are grinding, and it just wasn't there. That's something I feel like is missing. We all see the, oh, he gets a private plane. Oh, he gets a nice hotel. Oh, he has a nice this. It's the high end. Look at his house. We're going in Ian Poulter's house. Look at his cars. Look at his life. He gets to have a beautiful home in the UK and a gorgeous home in Jupiter, Florida. And this guy has this and all this kind of the riches of it. But I want to see the sweaty, smelly, grimy day in, day out of your practice. And I want to feel it. And that was missing. That's what I would have loved to have seen. All right. Top two things I feel like they missed. One, or number 2, is Ricky Fowler. He's in it, but he's just kind of talking, doing interviews. So they interviewed him. I'm certain they followed him and got behind the scenes. They didn't make an episode of him. Like, that would have been fantastic. Now, he wasn't in contention at all last year, really, but he was certainly going through a lot of swing changes, of grinding, of trying to get his form back. What a compelling episode that would have been. Now, maybe in season 2, they're going to do that and show, the previous year and the new year. And if he gets in contention, that he's been in contention, but maybe he'll win or he'll be right there. It'll be something spectacular, and maybe they're saving it for that. But I think they dropped the ball with that piece, because if you had an episode of his challenges and his struggle, just think how much more powerful it would be season 2 if he wins a major, or just comes back bigger, stronger and better than ever. I think they missed it there. No spoiler alert. You could look at the episode list and say, there's really nothing on Ricky Fowler. And so that he's such a fan favorite. I was like, oh, cool. Immediately we see him talking, but why aren't we going behind the scenes with the guy? Where's that? Where's the lifestyle of Ricky Fowler? I feel like we missed that. I hope we see it next season. And the number one thing I did not like about Full Swing is this, and it may be a spoiler. I don't think it's a spoiler, but here's what we got. We got Rory in there, and he's kind of the final episode, of course, right? He's the number one kind of proponent for the PGA Tour, especially versus Live. He's very outspoken against it, and I get that. One thing he said in the Full Swing documentary is this, that when he won, like his first event, he got a message or letter from Jack Nicklaus and Arnold Palmer just congratulating him, and how that those guys kind of carried the tour. Like they cultivated the tour, and then they passed it on to the next generation. And now, Rory, you're in a spot like of that cultivating the tour, right? I'm paraphrasing here. And, one day you're going to be able to, care for it and then pass it on to the younger generation. And so they're just excited for him that he's going to care for it in a great way. Fantastic. I love that, right? There's legacy with that. There's that you're part of something bigger and greater than yourself. And I'm all about that. And I love that. And that piece I loved. So with that being said, he said some things about Phil. He really talked trash about Phil Mickelson and Patrick Reed in particular. And just the way he has an attitude and feelings towards those guys, it comes across very clearly in the Full Swing Netflix series. Like it's clear Rory just doesn't like those guys, which is fine. You don't have to like everybody, but to come across that way is, to me, I felt like I just didn't like it, because here's why. Phil in particular, right? He cultivated the PGA Tour for many, many years, and he took care of it. Like he gave us as viewers so much. He helped grow the PGA Tour. Now, Tiger obviously grew it more than anybody, but a lot of the credit does go to Phil, because he was such a great challenger to Tiger Woods for many years. There was a lot of Tiger-Phil battles. So without Phil, we would have not had those great moments. And then even the fact that Phil struggled for so long before he won a major, and then he got one, and then he got some more, and then he really kind of came to life. And so many exciting moments at Augusta, at the Masters, at the PGA Championship, which he won at 50 years old. So Phil did a lot to do that, and as well handed off to the younger generation, right? So he cultivated, and then he left. Now, you're allowed to leave, right? He did his job and chose to go a different path. You don't need to beat him up over it and to just talk trash about him. That's what I felt like. To me, don't do that. Like, he did so many great things for the tour, and in leaving and going to the Live Tour, he essentially helped the PGA Tour because now the purses on the tour are so much bigger. There's premium events where those are guaranteed money. Now there's guaranteed money for people who miss the cut, for caddies, for everybody. There's so much more money because of the pressure that Phil and the other guys, including Patrick Reed, did to leave. And now Live has made people on the PGA Tour more money. There's less competition. There's more spots available. There's way more money. There's a spot for a college golfer. There's so many things that have happened quickly because people left. So they left. You don't have to hate on them for leaving. You actually reap the benefit because they left. So I just didn't like the way Rory was talking trash about those guys. Like, if they want to leave, go do your thing, man. See you later. Cool. Thank you very much. Thanks for that. Less competition and the more money. That's what I got out of it. Those are my takes. I loved Netflix Full Swing. I can't wait for season 2. I hope they add to the stuff, the episodes. I hope there's more episodes. I hope there's more in depth. I hope they kind of look at those 10 things and say, okay, let's make it better. Season 1 was great, though. Great job. Netflix Full Swing. Excellent. Let me know your thoughts. If you saw it, hopefully I didn't ruin it for you. I didn't ruin it for you. But let me know what you're thinking down below. See you guys next time.